Hi, this is Mrs. Hurst again, and I'm excited for another illustrating lesson. Can you guess who we're going to be studying this week? If you guessed the Cat in the Hat, you would be right. So, Cat in the Hat is kind of like the grandfather of all children's book characters. He is one of the oldest and most famous, and I don't want you to get confused with the Cat in the Hat, which is the character in the book, with Dr. Seuss, who is the author. Dr. Seuss is the man who wrote the book, and he illustrated the book. So I will show you a picture of him in one of our lessons, but this is the Cat in the Hat. That is not Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is the illustrator and author. So just wanted to make sure you had the difference between characters, authors, and illustrators clear. And just to make sure people know who our character is, I think we should write his rhyming name in his hat, because Dr. Seuss rhymes, and that's, I think, a good thing to do. Let's go ahead and write cat, C-A-T, in one of the stripes, in the hat. So I may have done that now, but you know what I'm going to do, because I'm going to show you how to draw this on your own. I am going to erase it. So this character is a little bit more difficult to draw than the pigeon, but that's okay, because it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just learning, right? So the way I start out drawing the Cat in the Hat, and there are many, many different ways if you look for instructional drawing videos, is I start out with the eyeballs, and we are going to make the eyeballs oval. So make sure you have a pen and paper, or pencil and paper. Pencil's usually the best, and then we can use black and red to color in the details later. So got my ovals. That's not enough for eyes. I bet you know what we need to put in the center of the eyes are some more circles. So I am just going to put another circle in the middle of these circles and kind of fill them in, just like that. And then his nose is not an ordinary shaped nose. It's kind of like a little oval. Something like that. Kind of looks like a jelly bean to me, but then you just fill it in. So we've got his eyes and his nose, and then we're going to get ready to draw his mouth. So I just put just a little bit, teeny tiny line coming out of his nose, pointing straight down, because then we're going to put another line like that about 4 fingernails down to put his mouth. His mouth is a lot further below his nose, but I like to kind of mark that so we'll know where the center of his mouth is going to be. And then I'm going to make a great big smile, because he is always happy. So we've got a great big smile, goofy smile on him. And then we want to give him some nice big cheeks. So there's kind of like a C shape right there on either side of his mouth. So we've got eyes, a nose, kind of like a dot in his mouth. So I think he needs a face, doesn't he? He needs a face to frame all that in. So let's make the face. And the way I'm going to do is start making the bottom of his face. It's kind of like a cup. So there will be kind of like a cup coming down on this side, and a cup coming down on this side. You'll see what I mean. I'm kind of like talking about a cup with a stem on the bottom. So I'm going to draw it kind of slowly. I'm not going to draw his ears yet. I'm just coming up maybe an inch above where the smile was to start his cheek. Coming down, going down to his neck. Doesn't have to be too long. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Some people do this part first, but I like doing it after I've already got the face in. Okay, there we go. And you don't need to make his neck too long like E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I do that too sometimes too, but I don't really need to do that. So we've got this much. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, the Cat in the Hat is really, his face doesn't look perfect at all. It's just kind of, it's a little bit scraggly. So I think you can get away with some mistakes whenever you're doing this. But if you use a pencil or a dry erase marker with me, it makes it a lot easier to erase the things that you want to get rid of. So now that we've got the sides of his face, we're going to draw those ears. So to me, the ears are looking a little bit like leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a swoop that way and a swoop that way. That's a little bit rounded, so that looks a little bit like a bear's ear. Maybe I should have made that a little more pointed. Let's try it again. Gonna make your ear pointed more like a kitty cat's ear. Okay, I think that's better. So we're gonna go alright, and they don't have to be perfect. They look pretty goofy, but you know what? It's okay. Cat in the Hat likes to have a good time. So now he needs a forehead. His forehead is not much higher than his eyes, so we're going to go ahead and just connect the spots between his ears like that. And then he really needs eyebrows. The Cat in the Hat has really expressive eyebrows because he's always asking questions. So we're going to give him 2 big eyebrows on top of his head. And now, this still looks a little bit goofy. I think that Cat in the Hat needs some detail in his ears. So let's go ahead and make a little line just covering that part here and that part here, because he's got some definitions. It's kind of a shadow in his ear. Maybe it's some fur, because we all know cats have hairy ears. Alrighty. Okay, so I just want to also tell you that this is my 3rd time drawing the Cat in the Hat. So if this is your first time and you're not, and you don't think it's very easy, try it again a little bit later. You can always pause this video and come back, because he is harder to draw than the pigeon. He's got more curvy shapes in it than just the plain block shapes like the pigeon had. Alright, so now we're going to go on with his hat. So we're going to make another line right through here, the brim of his hat. And you know, we're going to put something dark right in here. Some of his hair is coming out right here. Some of his hair is coming out right in here and giving some definition. Alrighty, let's see. And let's go ahead and draw that hat. And the hat does look a little bit like a rectangle, but it's not a complete rectangle because it's a little curved, because his hat flops over a little bit to the right, so we want to let our hat flop over to the right a little bit too. Okay, so what does it need now? It needs some stripes. Let's get those stripes going. And now he needs whiskers and hair, doesn't he? He's going to need some color in a little bit, but we have some more detail to add to the face. So when we add I call it the beard to the Cat in the Hat, and honestly, I was thinking today about how much the Cat in the Hat reminds me of Abraham Lincoln. He's got the beard and the stovepipe hat. We're going to go ahead and start making the cat's beard. You don't need to use big strokes for that, because that's going to make it look super wacky. So he doesn't have really long fur. He just has whiskers kind of hanging off of his face like some people's dads do. So we are going to just kind of Make little whiskers, like just, or you can think of it as like filling in just the side to give him some hair just barely coming off the side of his face. And we're gonna make it come all the way down. Maybe I'll let it get a little bit thinner as it comes to the neck, but he definitely has some hair on his neck too. I don't want to add too much at once, so let's come down on this side and do the same thing, giving him some fur. And remember, don't make the whiskers too crazy wild. I mean, and if you wanted to, you could, but he might start looking like a woolly booger instead of a cat in a hat if you do that. Alright, so we're getting that fur coming on down. Looking a little bit more like the cat in the hat, but not quite. I think we need a little bit more fur over here. And you know, some of the drawings I've seen of the cat in the hat don't show him with any whiskers, and I'm thinking, how can you not have a cat in the hat without whiskers? So we're going to give him a couple of little dots where his whiskers come out, and then we're just going to draw them coming off the side like this. So 1, 2, 3. And you see his whisker on this side is bent. I could draw it bent like that if I wanted. I'm just going to give him a little bit more fur though. Here we go. There's a whisker. There's a whisker. And there's a part that I'm missing that's kind of important. It's the little chin. So the cat in the hat has a line, which is his chin, not far underneath his smile. Let's give him some more fur down his neck. And, you know, those eyebrows, I'm going to darken them up a little bit because the eyebrows are super important on the cat in the hat. Let's see. Sometimes there's a little bit of definition in the cat in the hat's eyes down below, so if you want, you can add that. So look okay, look a little bit like him now. Like I said, it's not perfect. This is the best I can do today. You know, maybe I'll try it again tomorrow and do a better job tomorrow. But now we are missing the color. What color are we missing? And yes, if you said red, you're right. So we are going to go ahead and put in the red parts. And I don't fill it in entirely because I don't like my red marker to touch my black marker, but if you're at home using crayon or pencil, feel free to touch the lines. But the way I do it is just give the suggestion of color by putting another outline inside of each one of these. And I'm just going to color in that instead. But before I do that, I am going to add this. What's he missing? His bow. Absolutely. Let's make a circle for his bow. The bow shape. And I can color that in. That doesn't look exactly like his, but you know, it's fine with me. That's the point, is it doesn't have to be perfect. I think if you're giving people enough of the suggestion of the character, they'll know who it is. But like I said, if they don't know, we can spell it out for them in the hat. So let me color in my red, like I said I was going to do. You can color in yours all the way. I'm just going to color mine in part of the way. Okay, so when we finish that up and we go through and look for any lines that we might need to connect, sometimes I don't connect all the lines that I'm supposed to when I go in and I put finishing touches on it. Let's see. He's got the whiskers, he's got the chin that I almost forgot, he's got the kind of like the freckles, his ears. You know what, I think I need to make the ears a little bit darker over here. So if you want to do that too, you can add a little bit more hair to the ears, because we do know that cats have hairy ears. I know mine do. Alright, so we've got our hairy-eared cat, and this is the Cat in the Hat, who always rhymes. So let's go ahead and put his name in the hat. How am I going to spell it? Cat? That's right, C-A-T. C-A-T. I'm going to put in on the same line. I, N, and then the hat on that one. So maybe I could have put the word cat a little further over there so that I had more space, but I think you get the idea. So I can put cat in the hat. C-A-T, first word, I-N, second, the, T-H-E, and then hat. So we've got the cat in the hat on the cat in the hat. All right, I hope you enjoyed that, and I can't wait to see your Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat illustration.